Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dolly, if you could do roll call, please.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Here.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Here.
Councilman Abbott,
Here.
Councilman Cahill,
Here.
Town Attorney Genesi.
Present.
Okay, is there anybody that had signed in that wanted to take the podium for the open to the floor that's in the audience tonight? Okay. And by the way, it's nice to have an audience tonight in the crowd. It's nice to see everybody without their mask on, right? Okay, then in that case, Dolly, thank you for getting all of us the minutes from the June 3rd board meeting. I reviewed them and I would make an emotion that we approve them.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
I did. I can't get a pen. I did see Deputy Supervisor Cataldi in the office a couple days ago going over the bills. So, no, I'll get one. But so, Patty,
I did. I reviewed all the bills yesterday, and everything was in order. I would make a motion that we approve them, pay the bills.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
aye. And I have looked at the prepaid warrants as submitted by the Director of Finance, and I make a motion that we approve those.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
There he is. You switched on me, Paul. I gotta tell you. It's a different
good
point
one,
of
Paul.
view, right? Well, could you,
We have a few budget transfers.
pray tell.
The big one has to do with, we recently hired 4 interns, and we'll be working through the general part-time fund, and they're going to be doing some GIS work, so I had to make a budget transfer just to cover the cost of those interns over the next few weeks. And the remainder of the transfers are very routine. They're fairly immaterial, so.
Any questions from the board members on these?
No?
No.
Well, then I make a motion that we approve the budget transfers as presented by Paul, as
Second.
Director of Finance.
John, did you second?
He did.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
And I just must say that, Paul, we're getting into budget 2022 season, aren't we?
Yes, we are. It's kicked off.
I'm both, I'm excited and a little nervous, as the first part of that is the department heads put in their, I call
Yeah.
it their wish list, right?
That's the wish list.
And is it next week that we start to figure out what the aggregate of that is?
Yeah, I think our first meeting is Tuesday. You start with me.
Okay. Yep.
But there's a few meetings scheduled for next week. So over the next few weeks, we'll talk to each department head, dissect their request, their initial ask, and go from there.
Yeah.
Try to keep it under the tax cap as usual.
Pardon?
We're next Thursday, the 24th.
Is that when we're on? For the departments that you're liaison
Yeah,
for?
there's several meetings on the 24th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, actually, if the public has ever seen the budget process, I mean, is there about 15, 17 steps in the process? I mean,
Yeah.
and it's very public if the public wants to see it. It is quite a process.
It is.
To get to the final budget for a year. Should be interesting this year. Okay, with that being said, I'm not sure, Josh, who is the woman or gentleman that is requesting a license agreement at 431 Brookwood Drive, unless I
Skip number 3.
did. Okay.
Want me to talk to that, Mr. Supervisor?
Yes, please.
Okay. Number 3 is the request for a resolution to stipulate to a settlement of a tax certiorari case that's under Article 7 of the Real Property Tax Law. These are proceedings brought in Supreme Court challenging assessments, and in this case, it involves the VOA Cobblestone Place Housing Development Fund Company versus the town and the school district, which has intervened. Property addresses are 1023 Ravenwood and 1025 Ravenwood. The proceedings have been going on for 4 years. Actually, this would be the 5th year, but it's 2017, 18, 19, and 20. We have had numerous court appearances, we have had discovery, and most recently, we have had appraisals. We have not, as is often the case, swapped the appraisals, exchanged them, but in this case, we have had entered into discussions with the attorneys for the other side, and both the school district and ourselves have come to the conclusion that we are willing to resolve this case without going to trial, without exchanging appraisals, and we have, all parties have come to a mutually conclusive agreement as to the numbers. The bottom line for the board's purposes is in the memo of June 13th that I sent out to you. The cost to the town of Webster for the property at 1023 Ravenwood would be a total of 4 years of $17,724.75 in tax refunds, town tax refunds. And that does not include interest or penalties, which we will not pay if we settle this case, and the school district also agrees to settle it. For the property at 1025, the amount is $2,967.95, and that is for 3 years, as they did not sue for the 2017 assessment. The school district is meeting next week to approve their settlement. Their numbers are going to be approximately 5 times ours in terms of refunds. I've also included in the memo refunds that the Northeast Joint Fire District will have to pay, as that is included. And even though you don't represent them, I've included that in, and for public purposes, the amount for 1023 will be $2,927.04 for 4 years, and for 1025 will be $654.22 for 3 years. So my recommendation is, and this is based on my experience, having done these for many, many years, and tried them, is that the cost of trying the matter and taking the chance of an adverse result with the court and the cost of hiring experts, et cetera, would be much more in excess of what we are going to be paying in refunds here, not to mention the fact that we would possibly and probably incur interest and penalties. So my recommendation is that the town board approve this resolution, which I will sign on behalf of the town. Did I say Ravenside?
Well, I'm just curious, everything else says Ravenwood, I just want to be sure
Oh,
that we're
I'm sorry,
consistent.
I'm sorry, I think it's, you know what? Well, it's Ravenwood. It's
Okay,
Ravenwood.
okay.
I don't know where I got Ravenside.
That's okay.
from. That's a typo.
Sorry, I just want to be sure that we've got the right thing.
We'll
for
make
the
it
record.
clear, we'll make it clear. I will go by the account numbers, okay? It's tax account number 079.15-1-8003/SEN1 and 079.15-1-8.003/SEN2. Also, I would point out that I did run this by the assessor, and she is in agreement.
Any comments, questions from the board?
No, I agree.
No,
Yeah, I mean, what I've looked at, it makes a lot of sense, Charlie. Well, I make a motion to settlement of real property tax law, Article 7, assessment litigation, per what Attorney Genesi just proposed.
second?
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
And Dolly, is that good enough from a standpoint of docking it up?
I don't know where that
Okay,
Yes.
good. especially when we get the tax numbers in there. That trumps all names of streets and street addresses. Okay, and now, actually, I do know the names. It's Kristen and Drew Perry, is that correct? I apologize about that earlier. It was staring me right in the face. If you wouldn't mind coming up and just giving a brief description of why you're applying to have a fence.
Hi, my name is Kristen. I have 4 small children and a wandering elder dog. My husband works all day, every day, hence his work attire. He just got home so we could come. It is very important for me to contain all of my children in a safe manner. Just today, I went to pick up something and I turned around and my child had disappeared in an instant, and I had to go run around. Where are you? Where are you? And it is a hassle I would no longer like to do if we were granted. My husband could tell you more specifics about the fence that we're looking into.
We're just looking to get a 4-foot tall fence on the property line. We want to do steel along the sides and wooden along the back. So the steel is it's like a black aluminum, but it's made out of steel, so it's more durable.
So it's going to be the portion that's going to be on the easement is going to be steel, though?
Correct.
Okay. And it's wood on the back, but that's not on the easement. Just to clarify, are you both the owners of the property?
The stockade fence is going through the easement as well.
We bought it before we got married, so I don't
Okay.
know. I think it
Well,
might be
I had
just
both
him.
names on,
Yeah.
but I then
Pretty sure
was
it's
shown a
both.
tax bill, and the tax bill only
I think
has
it's both. I
Mr.
don't know.
Perry's name on, so. All right, I mean, whoever owns it is the one that's going to be signing the license agreement if the town
Definitely
board
him.
grants it, okay.
And I think that's how, yeah, the resolution is written with just Drew's name. Okay.
Okay.
And Bill, you had said that the wood
The wood
fence also is.
Yeah, the wood fence is going to be in the easement area as well,
Okay.
the rear of the property.
There was a fence there previously, and it was 6 feet tall, and it blew down in a windstorm back in 2017.
Interesting.
We were told that was grandfathered in. I know.
Good.
It was there before we bought it. We didn't do it.
The old pre-existing
Amazing what
non-conforming.
That's all right. And obviously, there's a letter in here from Pat Stevens, our highway superintendent, that seems to say that this is okay.
There is an infrastructure there, but based on concessions they made with the gate, somehow for water.
Sure, sure. Any comments, questions from the board members?
No?
You know, I know how fast kids can disappear, believe me. That's happened to me when my son was small in grocery stores on numerous times, and it scares the daylights out of you, so,
Yeah.
yeah. No, thanks, Pat, for the recommendation also. I appreciate you sending that along with the packet.
Just so you understand how it works, I will prepare the agreement if the town board grants it, and you will pay for the filing. I'll have you sign it, and the supervisor will sign on behalf of the town board, and
Okay.
we'll take care of the filing after that.
Great.
Okay, well, in that case, I am going to read the resolution. Or tonight. How much of this, Charlie, from a legal perspective? Should I read the whole thing? or-
No, I think you can just mention the address and
Okay.
the fact we have an easement. Do you want me to go through it, since I know we didn't have a lot of.
That would be
information?
great.
All right,
and,
yeah. This is,
Kristen, don't take
this
it
is a
personally,
this is
your
a
name's not on it.
if the town board's in agreement, you're making the motion, Mr. Supervisor?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second on it, or?
Second.
Okay. This is a resolution to grant limited relief from an established easement at 431 Brookwood Drive. The property is owned by Drew Perry. It's tax ID number 78.1010-2-21. We have a 15-foot wide storm sewer easement alongside of the property. I believe it's on the east side of the property.
What?
On the west
of the
side.
property. Yep.
Okay. And and there's going to be 2 gates also?
There's gonna be a 10-foot.
3 foot.
Well, there's gonna be a 3-foot on the opposite side, on the east side, and then 10-foot on the west side.
All right. And then do we have, it with the easement is recorded LIBOR 3293 of deeds, page 179. The owner of the property is requested to erect a 4-foot steel and wood fence with gates, and the highway superintendent has agreed to this, and pursuant to the application, in recognition of the hardship and reasons created, if the relief sought is not granted and a limited detriment to the town of Webster, the town board is going to allow construction of the aforesaid 4-foot-high iron and wood fence and gate, which will exist and encroach upon the easement affecting 431 Brookwood Drive. The resolution applies to no other encroachment violations or relief sought by the owner, successors or grantees, or assigns from any other building structure or zoning violation which may exist on the premises. You stated that there was in fact a fence prior.
Yeah, there's a 6-foot tall fence
All
along
right,
the back of the property.
I'm going to assume we'll know this, and the building department will know this, but if there was a zoning variance granted for a 6-foot fence, and, okay, then
Yeah,
that's
it's on the-
probably,
it's on the
then that would
survey.
stay with the property, okay. The fence shall encroach upon the easement as proposed as shown on the survey map prepared by William A. Seymour, who was your land surveyor dated July 20th, 2015. You've drawn the fence on that survey. The survey map will be attached. And the proposed fence and gates will not be expanded to further encroach in or on the easement, nor will it be moved from their permitted place within the easement as shown on the instrument survey map and presented to the town board. If there is any destruction or demolition of the aforesaid fence or gates, the owner of the fence and gate will not reconstruct it without coming back to the town board and seeking a specific resolution. So you don't reconstruct it if something happens to the fence,
Okay.
unless you come back and get approval. You'll be responsible for any damage caused by or to the fence as a result of the town's maintenance of the easement. The owners, successors, and assigns agree to indemnify, defend, and hold the town harmless from any and all loss or damage caused to or by the fence or the gate as a result of the work done. If the town deems it necessary, the town will have the right to remove or take down any part of the fence or easement without recourse by you. And the owner will enter into a licensing agreement incorporating all these conditions and in the form and substance approved by me. Actually, I'll draw it, and which will further provide that the owners at their expense will record the licensing agreement.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Yes?
Yes.
All right, great, thank you.
High five. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay, great.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
Each and every
you.
one of you.
But we do aim to please.
Yes, we do.
Well, I feel like deja vu. Our next item up is it Robert Altemeyer? Rob? Want to come up? And oh, now I don't see, I apologize. You can come up. I just didn't see a co-applicant.
We did rock, paper, scissors, so we had to talk, so
Did you?
it's my deal.
Okay, and this is pertaining to a fence and a shed that you'd like to have in one of the Webster's
Yeah, I
drainage
wasn't
easement.
sure about that. I didn't prepare a resolution for the shed. Is there a shed on the property, Josh?
Yes, there is.
Are they seeking a license agreement for that as well?
A portion of the shed is within the easement, so yes,
Probably should be a separate resolution. I don't know, did we, is this Mr. Stevens' bailiwick?
Yeah, we looked at it, looking at the fence application, it was apparent that the existing shed.
You have no problem with the shed, too?
No, so the conditions remain the same for the shed and the fence that
Okay, if the town board is in agree, and it's up to the town board. If the town board's in agreement, we can include the shed in this, or we can have a separate license agreement for the shed.
Am I, Bill, are you on the survey map, I
The
guess?
shed's not showing on the survey.
Yeah, I don't see it.
It's not showing on the aerial either.
Well, on the aerial, it's blocked by a shadow of the tree. On looking pictometry images from this past spring, you could see it. Unfortunately, I didn't include that photo in your packet. The original survey map that was submitted with the application did show the location of the shed. However, the map was cut off and was missing some pertinent information, so we had to get this version of the map that did not contain the shed shown, but it is indeed there.
So is the shed
So-
in the northeast back corner of the,
That's correct.
Yes.
okay. And I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here or whatever, but so the shed is on, some of the shed is on the 20-foot drainage easement in the back of the property. How long has the shed been there?
When we got it,
I don't know, it was,
it had been on the survey map itself, is that right, or no?
It's not on the current version that we had, but a previous version did show it, and I can't recall the date of that one. But it was there when you moved in.
Correct.
It was.
Yeah.
And I mean, Josh, like I said, is it, I take it the shed didn't go through like the ZBA for, is it 15 feet setbacks off of?
Usually.
Yeah, it's a 20-foot wide drainage easement, and only a very small portion of the shed is in the easement, so it more than likely meets the 15-foot setback. It just happens to be located partially in the easement.
Yeah, I wonder, well, like I said, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, and I understand what you mean, Bill, but it usually when the title transfers, when did you buy the house?
07.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna jump out of that rabbit hole, aren't I?
We should have a map that shows the
Yeah.
shed on it.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going to include the shed, absolutely, we're going to have, it's going to have to be attached, and we're going to need an 8.5 by 14 or an 8.5 by 11 survey, so you may have to get a new surveyor, ask your surveyor or another surveyor to come in and update it, okay, with the shed on it. That's if the town board grants it with the shed. Otherwise, you'd have to make a separate application, so.
I was going to say the other choice is we could consider the fence tonight.
You could consider the fence tonight and grant it, there would be one application,
Right.
one agreement, and then consider it,
Have to start the
consider it a
process
second. It would
again
be a
with the
second
shed.
application for the shed,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
But
What would you prefer we do?
I prefer to consider.
Either
the
way, you're
fence
coming
now.
back.
Yeah, have the fence
Yeah.
now.
If we could consider the fence now, that would be helpful to get that underway if possible, and then come back and do
Right.
the process for the shed.
And the fence is as shown on this map that you have attached.
Yes, right.
And the map is dated, last dated August 16, 2007.
You getting all this?
That's
'Cause,
it.
That's the
Yeah,
map.
that was when we bought it.
Am I right in assuming, Charlie, that, docking this all up or paper trailing it all up is gonna benefit you also when you go to sell? I'm surprised that the shed issue didn't come up back in '07, but
Okay.
you'll be happy that this is all documented if you go to sell in
Once time
a few
ago.
years.
If it's
so,
on, sure, if it's on the property. Yeah. I think the question to the board, though, is if you want to have one or two license agreements, you can approve it for this, but then you'd basically be amending this one, if they come back, you'd be amending this to
Exactly.
add the shed. So you can do the fence tonight and do the shed another time, or you can amend it, or you can have two separate ones, however you want to do it. And it's really up to the board.
It's really the same result.
Well, not really. You could have two separate license agreements.
Right.
But
But
then,
if we amend it, then it's all rolled into the one.
yes.
Right.
You know. Or you can say they could just come back and then hear it at that time with the shed on it.
Is there any good legal reason to have it all in one or to be separate?
Well, for their purposes, it's cheaper to have it on one. I don't know if that's a legal reason.
Okay.
If the town board agrees, that's fine. Again, it's up to the
I think we
town
should put
board.
both on one.
Yeah.
We'll just amend it when they come back, and that way they can get started with the fence.
I think, to be honest, I think the town board should have them both on one. and-
Yes.
And then.
That's great.
This way you're
That's what I'm
looking at
looking
both
for.
of them and you're seeing what's being encroached on and what's being, what impairment, if you will, to the easement exists, if any, so. And Pat's already spoken to it. You have no problem with it, with,
Yeah, the feature there is a drainage swale.
yeah,
No piping infrastructure.
okay.
Structural.
Yeah,
Standpoint.
I guess my counsel would be that the Altmeyers come back with an updated map showing the shed drawn in, and then we will, at that time,
Yeah.
review it.
I know it's almost 15 years. The attorney that represented you on the sale, do you still know he or she, or?
That's a great question.
I don't even remember
think
who it
so. I
was.
think we went with the attorney from the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just don't want to have to see you spend a lot of money on updating the survey when the fact is it
Right.
should have been on there when you
Right.
bought.
Yeah.
If the
Yeah.
shed, in fact, was there
Yeah.
when you bought. So, anyway. Okay, well, Charlie, then I guess I'll have you read off, because you'll have to,
Well, are you going to table it, or are you going to,
I think, oh, is that?
that would be my suggestion, since you're going to be dealing with the shed. You're going to be dealing with two encroachments, two separate encroachments.
So
it's
if we
gonna be a
table it, then they can't get started on the
Okay,
fence.
so
Thank you.
to come back,
If we table it, they can't get started on the fence, right?
yeah.
that's,
I don't know, that's up to Josh's team.
well, if we don't give a license agreement for the fence, they can't
And we
start the
can't
fence.
issue the permit, right?
So, I'm sure you're anxious to get the fence built.
We are.
So would you like to do the license on the fence so you can get started?
Definitely.
I would
do that.
appreciate
You're gonna
that very
have to
much.
have licenses,
Yes.
You have to pay again, though.
That's,
That's okay. We're willing to do
Okay.
that. If we
Okay.
could get started on the fence,
Okay.
that would be
Okay.
All
much
right. Well, we had a
appreciated.
fun conversation. We're
Yeah.
back to the resolution, but I'm glad that we did talk that out.
Thank
but
you.
we
You
are
heard
back-
what, you want me to do it again?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
you heard what I said
I
before,
did,
to
yep.
to your predecessor, right? Okay, basically what we're doing here is we have, in this case, is a 20-foot wide sanitary drainage easement, and it is on the premises at 1218 Majestic Way, Webster, New York, and it's owned by, if I'm correct, Robert and Irene B. Altmeyer, and you own the property there. It's tax account number 065.09-2-26. You are looking to erect, which is not there now, a 4-foot-high chain link fence, correct?
Yep.
Are there going to be gates on this fence as well?
Yes.
Yep.
There will be?
yeah.
Okay. And it's going to be across the easement, which runs up to the rear of your property. It's a drainage easement. You have discussed this with the superintendent of highways, who is here tonight, and he finds no reason to object to this fence being placed there. And if there's anything that's needed, anything further needed by you in terms of permits or variances, you will go to the zoning board of appeals and receive those before you put the fence up, correct? So until you have all approvals, you will not put the fence up. The pursuant to the application and the town board, I'm sorry, Mr. Supervisor, you did make the motion, correct?
I did.
And did you second it? Who seconded it?
I will.
Okay.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
No, I'm not finished
I'm
yet.
sorry.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure there was a
Okay.
motion on the table. Again, the resolution applies to no other encroachment violations or relief sought by the owner. The fence shall encroach upon the easement as shown on the map that we have, but you're going to get us an updated one in the size that I said. Simply, and the reason is this, by the way, it's not arbitrary. The county clerk with whom we file these will only take an 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14.
Okay.
So this size map, they will not accept, okay?
Okay, yep.
So when you have it redrawn, or at least given to you in that size, then you'll give it to me.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
thank you. The proposed fence and gates will not be expanded or further encroach in or on the easement beyond that which is shown on the map. Upon destruction or demolition of the fence and/or the gates or any part of them through natural causes or anything, you will not replace it unless you come back to the town board and they grant you permission. You will be responsible for any damage to the fence or caused by the fence, even if the town does it in terms of maintaining the easement, it will be on you to replace it. If, in the event of an emergency, if the town deems it necessary or imperative, the town will have the right to remove or take down the fence and without recourse by you for such removal or taking down. The resolution will in no way affect the rights of any other public entities or public utilities in the easement. And you will be responsible for, I will prepare the easement, you will sign it, and you will be responsible for the filing fees, the recording fees.
Okay, great.
I'll give you my card with my contact information, and
Thanks.
we'll go from there.
Great.
All right, so,
Supervisor Flaherty?
aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye,
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
and we'll be seeing you again for the shed.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
They may need zoning approvals for that shed.
That's what I mean, okay. Well, first of all, the next item on the agenda, and I want to just, we are, I don't know what the legal term would be. We're not tabling this. I think we are just
Withdrawing it?
withdrawing it. Yes.
The applicant's withdrawing.
I think the applicant has to withdraw it because the applicant does not own the property yet, nor is the home built yet. I applaud the proactive approach that the person that is going to be at 361 Anna Circle has, but while the developer still owns the land and they haven't broken ground on a house, we as a town board can't be considering a fence or a fence on a drainage easement of a house that's not built yet and is not in the person's name. So Charlie, what is that, a withdrawal?
I guess, yeah, I mean, we're just not going to consider it. There's
No.
no reason to talk about it now until there's a closure on the property.
Yeah, and that was gonna be the third straight licensing agreement application. Boy, if we had a run on them. I will say that, in the room tonight is Pat Stevens, our new highway superintendent, Mary Harrington, our new town engineer, and Josh, can I still call you new to the community development director
Probably
position?
not.
But, certainly, I know that the three of you have said to me in various meetings that possibly looking at gathering inventory of our easements and really trying to figure out what we have with these easements. And maybe within that effort, well, I can't even venture a guess of how many fences and or sheds right now are illegally in our easements. I couldn't, I don't know. I mean, I applaud these people coming and doing it the right way, but it'll be a very interesting process, but hopefully we kind of clean things up for the town.
Well, you mentioned something interesting. You said that when the time comes to sell or transfer the property, it certainly will be looked at as to how did they receive the approvals, because that is something now that actually for the last 10, 15 years has been very standard in requesting, particularly by lenders,
Yeah.
as to anything that's on an easement, that's on a board, or things of that nature. So, yeah, I think it's in their best interest that this be done.
Well, it is, and I mean, Charlie, coming from my background being in the mortgage industry, I'm scratching my head like, how did that property close in 2007 and this didn't manifest itself right then and there? But I guess stuff happens. Sooner or later, it's going to manifest itself. So, anyway, onward and upward. Now, I don't know, is it Mr. McMinn?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Robert, you want to pop up and so do you own 662 Galleon?
I actually do, yeah.
You do. Okay, because I saw that. All right.
Bought a little while ago, maybe like
year and a half.
Oh, that's right, there's no house on it yet.
No, that's
Gotcha.
what we're striving to achieve.
There you go.
Next spring to start.
Yeah.
But if you're familiar with it, it's a unique piece of property, and it's been there since '79, just waiting for me
Yeah.
to buy
Well,
it.
Mary Harrington has made me very familiar with it in the last couple of weeks. I know you've made an application for a fill permit.
Correct.
You know, it's funny, usually I look to Barry, who's not here tonight, because he always has insights. Bill, any questions, or John, or?
Well, number one, there's no distinction of where they're gonna fill, Josh. The drawings I have don't show any areas that the fill's gonna go in. So how are you gonna determine how much fill they're putting in there?
Yeah, they're trying to achieve a certain grade, so that's, they have a preliminary site plan right now, and we're working through it with them. We haven't come to an agreement on what the site plan will be yet. So once that is sorted out in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a better idea of what fill will be needed to achieve that.
Can we grant that without knowing?
I would, well, my position is no, but again, there's 2 other board members here, 3.
I mean, generally, we know that.
Well,
There
there's
is
an
an-
approved site plan that originally had the driveway on Treasure, but with the detention pond, I don't see how it can happen. So buying the property, we redid the site plan with a culvert to go from Galion across the property.
Has that been approved by the planning board?
It's not, it doesn't need to be approved by the planning board because it's a single-family, one-lot home, so it's going through the project review committee for review.
Okay, but you haven't finalized the plan yet.
No, we haven't, and because he's trying to get fill in the property this summer, we didn't want to hold up. Because if he had an approved plan, then he wouldn't need the fill permit, but rather than hold him up from getting the fill that he needs, we were going to pursue the fill permit and then work on the site plan with him over the next few weeks.
You know, when you said it's a unique property, like I said, Mary, you've really given me some insights on how unique it is. Whether that uniqueness has any bearing on whether the board is open to approving a fill permit tonight without knowing the amount of fill and/or where it's going to go, that might have some bearing on it. I know that, Mary, you're on this. It's been in our last couple of weekly meetings. It's a unique property with some various aspects to it.
And I anticipate by the end of, the next month or so, we'll have an approved site plan for him. But given the fact that he's trying to get some fill, I didn't want to slow him down for a few weeks. But regardless of what the final site plan looks like, he is going to need some more fill. So this is just so that he can keep working on that the next few weeks until we come to an agreement.
I see you did put conditions down here also for clean fill, maintain erosion and sediment controls, allow town access to the site during the fill activities to stay out of the drainage easement. So,
Well,
I mean, it's definitely a different shaped lot. It's not just a square lot. So basically the fill is going right where there's a small triangle where the house can be to meet the requirements of the setback. So it's right in the dead center. It's about 8 feet below the road right now. So that's the challenge of trying to, it's gonna be a good amount of fill to raise that up. So the idea of trying to be proactive and not have to wait. If we don't get a fill, it's gonna take a long time to get to that point where we can actually start building, is the problem.
have you where are you getting the fill? Do you have contacts that you've already made
Yeah.
to get the
Yeah,
fill
yeah.
delivered?
Yep. like, it's not gonna be anything like, you're not gonna have a ton of stuff coming in right now. It's just people that, you know, I've made contacts with just dropping clean fill.
Right.
It's not gonna be, you probably wouldn't even notice it, but, you know, since I started buying this, you know, there's a lot of questions. You know, it sat there since '79, it was approved a lot. We bought it from Dan Kappa. You know, we did a ton of improvements on it, you know, cleaned it up, you know, try to just get it to this point, and we knew it was gonna be a challenge and a process, and just trying to be proactive and go to the next step, what we need to do to eventually, to plant our roots in Webster.
So you're filling an area that you plan on building your house on?
Yes.
And you plan on building this house on an 8 feet of fill?
If it's done properly, it'll be fine, yeah, it won't sink.
You have more trust in it than I do.
I do a lot of due diligence. You know, I own a construction company, you know, I've done a lot of things, so I'm pretty confident in it, so. If you put dirt in there, absolutely it won't work, but it's gotta be millings, it's gotta be stone, it's gotta be concrete, or it won't work, correct.
And Mary, Josh, Pat, there will be reasons, even though this doesn't go through the planning board, I get the feeling there's reasons you will be on site during all of this. And for what reasons? Is it because of SWIPs? Is it because of... What reasons would you be on site for what is a single-family house?
So this particular property has a tributary to Shipbuilders Creek that crosses the front of it. So it's, you need to be a little more diligent in protecting that state water. And we also have a drainage easement that goes across the front of the property. So the town has, you know, some stake in keeping that correct and maintainable. And then also Army Corps of Engineers and DEC is coordinating with the homeowner to make sure that their requirements are satisfied.
And that, thank you, because I've been made aware of this property, there are a lot of working parts on this. And for me, that's why, and where I understand what you're saying, Bill, that there isn't specificity of how much fill and where, because I know there's so many eyes on this thing. I'm comfortable with it, but I also respect, Bill, if you're not, I'm totally, but I'm gonna make a motion to...
Can I ask a question before you make the motion, please? So, I'm very confident in Mary and Josh are gonna follow up, and we also have the DEC. My question would be that, have you determined a line of communication between yourself and Mary such that, okay, on such and such a date, we're gonna have so many, 4 or 5 loads dropped off, so you want to come out and take a look? I'm just wondering.
It's kind of more like the contacts that I have are doing repairs in the city. So basically, you know, it's a small dump truck, you know, a 6-wheeler, maybe 3 tons at a time, depending what they have off their pick list. So basically, they're doing road repairs. You know, they get a punch list, go do these road repairs, you know, as the weather permits. That's all it is right now.
Gotcha.
So previously, to the point where they did for the first part of the summer, I think they brought like, I want to say like, I don't know, it was like 500 yards to another place in Webster. So the idea behind it is, one, it's free, and you can't have dirt in there. It won't, it'll sink. So the big thing is getting it for free. It does not going to cost any money for us, and to start laying the foundation for it. Like we came to the town, actually my realtor, we came and met with Rod, we talked to Josh, the previous engineer, like what could we be able to do to this? Because it's, you know, it has a stream going through, it has a detention pond. The original site plan has the driveway coming off of Treasure, which, you know, the detention pond's way bigger than I think it might have been planned, but there's no way a driveway could be on that side. So we try to do as much due diligence as we could to feel comfortable enough to buy it and to kind of move forward. And, you know, one of the steps was to clean it up, you know, to get rid of the dead trees, the brush, you know, clean it up. Very neat, meticulous, you know. I've met, you know, Pat, Josh, and Mary out there. probably like a month ago by now. But kind of talk about what do we need to move this forward, you know, and getting everybody's buy-in to do the right thing, you know, where everybody can come up with agreement so we can actually have a house and live there and send our kids to Webster School.
Of all the lots in Webster, you had to fall in love with this one, huh?
Well,
It's a challenge.
I mean, it's a beautiful, you know, a lot of people will be scared of it. I am not that person. I knew it would be a challenge, and, you know, I take a challenge pretty, you know, serious. My parents are here. We sold our house in North Winton while the market was crazy last fall. My wife's pregnant again, so we have a lot of crazy stuff going on at this time, and, you know, throw in COVID, but we're just trying to do our due diligence. You know, we're hoping next early summer to start building, you know, so we're just trying to be proactive and just go each step as we go, what we need to do to satisfy the requirements.
I'm comfortable.
Okay. Any other comments, questions from the board?
Nope.
No.
Well, I make a motion to approve a fill permit at 662 Galleon Drive.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye?
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Bill, go with your heart.
I'm just very concerned that there's a lot that has to be done, and it falls on the town to approve it, and that worries me a little bit.
Yep. It's
So
a valid
I'm gonna
worry.
vote no at this point.
Yep. It's a valid worry.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
I'm going to trust in our engineers and vote yes. Aye.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. And I gotta say, and honestly, Bill has some very valid points. I have the benefit that, and you know, I'm working every day with Pat and Josh and Mary, and I think because of what I've seen, that's why I'm so confident doing this. I know that they'll make us proud, Bill.
I'm not questioning their abilities, I'm questioning the fact that he's gonna put 8 feet of fill, and it's gonna go in there, and we're inspecting it, we're checking it. That worries me.
No, I
We should
didn't-
not be responsible for the fill that he's putting in there, that he wants to put a house on, that may settle and come back on us, because we said it was okay.
Well,
That's my concern.
The virgin ground that's on right now, that'll be the basement floor. So basically, it's just gonna be filling, it's not gonna, the basement's not going on its 8 feet. So where the ground is now, we probably have to dig down 2 feet. So, it's already on virgin ground right there. So basically, the fill is, so we can actually have a house, we could walk into the house. I mean, it's pretty much like a gully right now.
Okay.
And it was an approved site plan. I don't know if the elevations have changed. You know, we had it redone by Kostick, but like it's, the base of the house will be on virgin ground. So it's not like we're adding it up to build on top of that 8 feet. So basically it's just so we can walk out the house at a gradual slope to be able to have a yard and stuff. It's not like building on top of the fill.
Right.
Good? All right. You got it.
Perfect.
All right.
I'll be here again, I have a feeling, for the culvert part, so,
Good luck.
yeah.
And I don't want to speak for Pat and Josh and Mary, but I certainly didn't, I wouldn't have thought you, Bill, you were questioning their skill or anything like that.
No, I'm just clarifying that,
Yeah.
that's all.
It's a complicated site.
Yeah.
Everything you guys said is very true. There was an approved site plan, which had the house somewhat higher, so it would have been a fill effort anyway, which is fairly common. It's not too unreasonable. The key to the fill permit right now is some of the conditions John mentioned, being split aspect, so
Right.
the fill process.
Good.
We've been in a catastrophic situation where, if for some reason, we didn't secure the house, just be left with a lot that was less of a hole, it would be graded off and stabilized.
Yeah.
Worst case from the town risk perspective, I don't believe the fill operation doesn't change the drainage or anything of that nature
Yeah.
at this time. So
Thank you.
Congratulations on another child.
I'm all 47. I don't know if I'm crazy. I got a 3-year-old and I'll have another one.
Well, you're a parent. You are crazy.
Not really gonna.
All right.
I
Well,
was 43 when John.
are you Dan? Dan, are you afraid to get up there after that, or? Well, Dan, guess what? You are the last
There's
formal
two
item.
Dans.
Oh, he's with me.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. Who's Daniel Steensma?
And the blue shirt in the back.
Two Dans. Dan, are you afraid to get up there now? Take care, gang. All right, we gonna have a softball to finish this night out, or?
My name is Dan Steensma. I've resided at 815 Tinker Tavern Road for 25 years. And when I first moved there, the backyard was always wet in the spring, but the cumulative effects of 25 years of rains and flooding have left the back portion of the property pretty much unusable. It's eroded to the point where I can no longer mow it, and even walking through there is a challenge. So I'm applying for a fill permit to bring in up to 60 yards to fill in the soil that was eroded and improve the grade and the slope of the property back down to the water, the easement, the drainage easement area.
And I will say I went back there and I took some photos, and there are a lot of it's really uneven just from the water that's been back there over the years. So it's kind of smoothing out the yard. I can imagine that, yes, mowing would be challenging because it is almost like you'd twist your ankle walking across his yard right now. So it's an effort to smooth out the yard and then improve the grade so that hopefully there's less standing water.
And thank you, Mary, for those photos. We've got that in the packet. It's good.
I'm directionally challenged. Is that the church that you are?
St. Paul's backyard.
Is that St. Paul's?
Yeah, St.
Okay.
Paul's butts my property, yes.
Okay. Any questions? Or?
Nope.
And there won't be any fill placed in the drainage easement itself.
Correct.
Okay.
Don?
No.
Bill?
Fine.
No, good.
No. Well, Dan, it was a softball to finish the night, huh? Well, I make a motion to approve a fill permit at 815 Tinker Tavern Road.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
You got it.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you, Mary, for all your help.
And that concludes
Thanks, Dan.
our
Good luck.
formal agenda tonight. We'll leave the phone on for 5 minutes. Boy, did I not, I blew that 20 minutes out, didn't I, Bill?
The first fill permit was tough.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got a couple minutes, we'll leave the phones open. It's funny, like I said, the first fill permit, Mary, how many times have I been in a meeting in the last month where this Galleon property has been brought up?
Probably every week.
Yeah.
I mean, Army Corps of Engineers, DEC, State Water versus, it's unbelievable what's going on over at that property. He's a brave guy to try to build there.
But I will say he has coordinated very nicely with the town. He improved his soil and erosion control. He's put hydroseed down to start the grass growing just as a stabilization measure for the summer. So he's looking to coordinate with us, and I've talked to him on like a weekly basis for the past month. So we're connecting and gonna figure out his site plan soon.
Yeah. Yep. So. All right. got 2 more minutes to see if anybody is home wanting to call in to say anything, so we'll do the round the room. Pat? Anything from the cheap seats? All right. Paul?
The town accepted bids today for our serial bond, which is our refinancing of our bond anticipation notes that have been in place in various components for the past 5 years or so. It's about $11.1 million. It includes the wastewater treatment plant project, the town hall renovations in this building, recreation center, and some water lines that were installed over on Herman Road, Bosberg Road, and Pellet Road. So it just formalizes all that as a serial bond. We got a rate of 2.117%, which is actually net of a bond premium of $10,754.25, which brings the rate down a little bit. But basically, they give you a cash payment. You apply that cash payment to the first interest payment next year. So
That's a good rate.
there were 5 bidders. It worked out pretty well.
It's a very interesting process.
It is.
You know, and if I remember, about 7 million of that 11 is the sewer.
Yes.
From
Yeah, the
phase
bulk of
1.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Bill?
No.
Is
Looking
there-
forward to next week, starting the budget process.
Do you like going to the dentist too? Nothing personal. Betty.
Excuse me?
Okay. Is there any way I could cajole you to maybe put on an orange vest and a hard hat and go and check 662 Galleon once every couple months?
No,
No? Okay.
I'll leave it up to Mary.
Oh, I pity him if he crosses you, Mary, because you'll keep him in line. Any updates, Mary?
I will say that our 4 summer interns are being really productive and helping out Josh and my departments along with Highway 2. They've been doing soil and erosion control, sediment and erosion control inspections on behalf of the town. We're going to get trained on doing pond and outfall inspections next week, and they have already drastically improved our GIS. So they're really making big strides this summer, and they've been doing a great job. So that's been fun having them.
Josh?
Just an update, our signs came in for the posted signs for all of any project that's under review. So starting in July, we will be rolling that out. You'll begin seeing blue and white signs in front yards of any properties that are under review. So we're corresponding that to some changes on our website as well. So hopefully it'll be more visible to the residents if they're curious about what's going on around town. So we look forward to implementing that.
Great. John?
I'm all set. Nothing.
Patty?
I want to thank everyone at our Parks and Rec department under the guidance of Chris Bilo for a wonderful summer celebration last week. A lot of people came out, everybody was having a good time, and it's just nice to see people out enjoying themselves and celebrating something again. It's a good job.
Charlie, you gonna miss your time on the Board of Assessment Review meetings? Yeah.
I was just going to say, we finished up a little earlier than usual, but the usual good preparation by our assessing department and the good hard work by our Board of Assessment Review, so well served.
Great. And you know, Dolly, last but not least, we always have you as the...
I'm not sure why that is, but, town and county tax collection ended for us the end of May. The county is still collecting. So we're in between tax collection seasons, quieter time for the town clerk's office. So right now we're focusing on converting, we've got a project going on in our records room, converting all the box labels from the old MU1 schedule to the new LGS1 schedule. That's a time-consuming job. So we're hoping to wrap that up this summer.
Great, great. Well, it was a little bit more than 20 minutes, Bill, but this meeting is officially adjourned.